Salutations, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? I just came back home, had a long day, did some running around, like the old folks would say, ripping and running, and I wanted to come before you tonight, just to kind of get a reaction video. I haven't done one of these in a minute. And so I just thought I'd just add my little piece of 2 cents. And I'm actually watching this in real time. I haven't watched it beforehand. This is actually a video that was resurfaced by controversial content creator Funky Dineva. And I don't know how it could resurface. I just noticed coming up on the social media, and there's quite a few content creators on YouTube that's responded to it. And so he spoke on straight black men being a cancer to the black community. So I just thought just kind of react to it and get my own perspective. I didn't really get too like deep into other people's perspective on it because I want to make sure mine was organic, and just get my little take on it. And I know that there might come a time that I may have the unpopular opinion. I might be considered a pick me at certain points, your mama. But anyway, that's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And this is playing this video is under the Fair Use Acts of 1976. That would allow me to use this video for education, research purposes, and all that good stuff. I have it going like in a little bit faster, so that way, out of respect for the content creator. And also this video is going to be, the video's link is going to be in the description box as well. So let me get right into it.
Boys, and these are two guys that I love. I said, black men, there is a conversation that y'all need to have amongst each other. And that conversation is, A, why y'all don't have any respect for one another and are so willing to kill one another. B, why y'all don't have respect for black women and you see them as objects and disposable and less than. And C, why the presence of anything homosexual or trans just completely rattles you and gets your panties in a damn bunch. Those are three issues that black men need to sit down, straight black men need to sit down in a room with straight black men, and y'all need to figure that shit out.
Okay, I wanted to just pause it there right quickly. Let me move this real quick, all right. Valid points made, but I would think that he needs to kind of turn the tables on himself, because I think a lot of us have followed Funky Dineva throughout the years, and even though he does make some valid points, he's very, very intelligent person. He speaks from, a place, he speaks from a passionate space, so I get where he's coming from in those aspects, but I would have to turn the tables on him as well, because the same group of people that he's talking about, as far as the black woman, I've seen him many times use his platform to drag the same black woman he's speaking of right now, that he demands respect from the straight men. So I'm just wondering, like, when he says straight men, why is he putting that label on straight men in particular, and not all men, including the ones in the LGBTQIA community? Because they all come mixing together. And I think because also I think that a lot of women give a little bit more leeway to gay men when it comes to how they speak to us, or how they address us. There is a pass for a gay man to call another woman bitch, or hoe, or certain terms, derogatory terms like that. It seems like there is a window of exception when it comes to when gay men use certain lingo, certain language, no matter how vulgar it is, to address a woman, and we kind of accepted it, right? But then when a straight man does it, it's like, what? who are you calling them? So but like I said, but just going back to what he was saying, I've heard him say a lot of um derogatory things about black women, and mostly, he has dragged many. So I think that he needs to, make sure that if he's going to make a generalization like that, and I know he mentioned throughout this video that he's not saying all, but at the same time, you're lumping straight black men in particular. And when he said when it comes to um, respect, like the threat of the gay man, the gay black men in the community, in general, when it comes to straight men and the divide between straight men and gay men, yes, I do get it that sometimes it does cause some type of psychological, something, when it comes to straight men and how they um, interact with or how they view gay men, in society, or when it comes to how they interact with women, children. Like they have this perception, they have this, not all, but some have this common perception that, about gay men that makes them uncomfortable, and so I do get where he's coming from there. But a lot of times, with that being said, a lot of gay men don't make it easy for them to be comfortable around them, because they tend to get inappropriate sometimes. They tend to draw, they tend to cross a certain line, whether it's like in a flirtatious way or whether it's in an aggressive way. They tend to, like, I think a lot of gay men, they tend to demand respect from others, but they don't get that. They don't give that in return. They always advocate for gay rights or they advocate for respect for gays, but it goes both ways. I think that there needs to be more of a united front. But at the same time, I feel like when you have certain men, they're not necessarily homophobic. They just um, it's a complex within themselves. I think they project a level of insecurities within themselves if they even if there's a friendship, like if they have friendship with certain gay people, with gay people, um, or they have a child that's in the community. It's a personal complex. It's a insecurity factor, and it may that part may project towards towards those within the community as well. So I just wanted to kind of just respond to that real quickly. But let me see if I can just do this another way. Hold on, because I was trying to see if I can share. Let's see here. I'm trying to make the screen go like I'm trying to make it split. That's what I'm trying to do. But anyway, let me go ahead and put it back on.
Y'all need to figure that shit out. I can't even expect, and let me do the proverbial. It's not every black man, it's good black men out. Yes, we know that. But I am talking about the collective. All right. Heterosexual black men have got to get down to the bottom of why they don't see any value in one another, right? Why we're so willing to kill one another so freely. Then once we get down to that, we got to try to figure out the women thing. Then, we got to figure out the gay thing. Why the presence of a gay man rattles y'all so much. I told my homeboys last night, one of the most emotionally unsafe places that a young gay boy can be is a barbershop, right? And what's unique about being gay, particularly young, is that I got to occupy several worlds, right? If I just sat still in the barbershop, I got to occupy the space of a straight black man. And I got to witness and listen and be a part of all the privilege that comes along with being a straight black man, right? I got to occupy that space. But being gay and oftentimes occupying a lot of female spaces, I had the advantage of being able to be privy to conversations and attitudes and opinions about the way men feel about women.
Okay. Because I wanted to stop it there. Because I mean, I do get that because, when it comes to barbershop talk, oh, that's where every and everything is being put out there. Raw, honest views on everything from politics to women, especially women, because a lot of times that's their safe space. The barbershop is their safe space, the same way the beauty salon is the safe space for us women to just really just let everything just everything just fall off fall off their tongue, right? And so I think they have the right to express their views, and a lot of times it's not so nice, views about us women. There are times where they are very disgraceful. There's some of the stuff that's disgraceful towards us as women. There's some that are truth, and it's their truth because a lot, you're not in the homes with them to know. You're not that fly on the wall to really know for certain that what they're saying is not their version of things that's going on in their households or within their neighborhood or around. No, not just women in their lives. Like, not, it's not just women that they might be married to or involved with. It could be women in their family, women that they grew up with, women within their community, just women overall that had come in contact with that, that had a impact on them, whether positive or negative. So yes, they're going to, they're going to go out all in on how they view women. And like I said, it's not always so, pleasant. Yeah, so I guess he's going to get into that. So let's see what he has to say.
I guess you could say I was a traitor in a sense because I got the luxury of being able to sit in the barbershop and the hair salon. So I'm privy to two different conversations. And here's the thing about the barbershop, right? In the barbershop, as a young black man, it truly is a microcosm of male masculinity and what I should be in every stage of my life. You come into the barbershop as a toddler, you see yourself as a young boy, you see yourself as a teenager, you see yourself as a man, and you see yourself as an elderly man, all in one sitting. Everything I am supposed to be from start to finish, I learn or can see or can pick up in a 2-hour sitting in the barbershop. How I'm supposed to sit, how I'm supposed to dress, how I'm supposed to treat my woman, what I'm supposed to think about gay people, what I'm supposed to think about that nigga from the other set. I learn all of these things in the barbershop. Here is what I've never heard in the barbershop. Hey man, y'all know we supposed to be loving one another, right? Yeah, you heard Junebug and Mike got into a fight last night, man. He shouldn't have shot that man. Somebody should have been over there to de-escalate that. That's not what we hear. What I heard is, hell yeah, my nigga, he should have shot that nigga. He shot a head. I was there, I'd have beat that nigga ass too. Yeah, I heard that nigga was over there from 31st Street. He came over there with that bullshit. Those niggas came in there, shot his ass up. Ha 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 ha. I'd have did that shit too. Hell yeah. That's what I heard. In the barbershop, you also hear, yeah, man, my little lady mad with me. Why she mad, dog?
Before he gets to that part about the women folk, I just want to react to that part. Yes, I do get where he's coming from, and yes, that is unfortunate where you have a lot of men who don't maintain united front among other men, and that is why there's such a divide and there's such a a slew of black men who are unfortunately there are being killed or attacked, and a lot of times it's over petty stuff. It's over situations that could be resolved with just a conversation, So yes, I do agree in that aspect about violence, towards men, black men. And, this goes for all men, but I know this is, the black man is the main focus, right? But I want to ask you guys, I mean, what do you, in your perspective, how can we change that? What are some of the ways that we can remedy that? I feel like, I feel prayer changes things, but not everyone shares the same spiritual beliefs. Not everyone has the same value system. So how do we come as a collective, and be able to improve on that? But at the same time, I feel like um, the same way he's saying about violence towards others, I heard fucking not even threaten women, quite a few times, So I just have to kind of go, like I'm trying to be as impartial as I can, but at the same time I have to hold, certain people accountable as well, and I got to hold them accountable because there's going to be some times where I'm going to catch him in um in a hypocritical space. Because I remember him saying he's going to slap Tasha K when she sees her. I remember him saying that. Isn't that violence? And not even towards a black man. That's towards a black woman. So yeah, let's go there. Let's go there. But I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of two things could be true at the same time, right? The violence must stop among others, but you also have to kind of look in the mirror and practice what you preach as well. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Man, I'm messing with that other chick, Lisa. Lisa called the house last night. My little lady answered the phone. Oh, damn, nigga, you gotta be more careful next time. Never once did I hear somebody say, well, why you got the girl calling your phone and you got a little lady? You wrong, my nigga. You wrong for cheating on your girl. Why you doing that? It's always reinforcing this cheating behavior on your woman. The behavior that's been most traumatizing for me, being in the presence of straight black men in the barbershop example, is all the sissy and the faggot talk, right? Now,
yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to be as quick as possible. So I'm not trying to. I'm gonna plan on playing the whole video, but I just want to get some bits and pieces and my perspective on it. Okay, so this is a heavy topic that can be discussed all night about women. And then yes, you have a lot of talk about women, men covering their tracks and how they give it not so great advice on when it comes to dealing with women, but not all. I have to correct him on that because I think his views on that is outdated when it comes to the barbershop talk, because there are some men that do check their boys about how they treat their women, especially if there is someone that is really is good to them. They will say, nah, man, that's a good woman right there. You don't get them all the time. You need to check yourself. You need to get it together. If you're not ready for that type of commitment, then you need to just let that person know and let that person go and let another man treat her the way she's supposed to be treated if you're not ready for that type of commitment. So there is both sides of that spectrum when it comes to how men tend to talk about or brag about how they dog another woman or how they treat them, and they wonder why the woman maybe act the way they do and why they're so angry and aggressive, or they might get a little crazy because you kind of make them that way at times. But on the other side of things, there are some men that do give them the advice of not putting that person through whatever they're going through, and not to continue to have your cake and eat it too. If you are not going to be committed to this relationship, just let it go, or just be honest, but so you don't always have, I can't dictate, or I can't dispute what he has heard or what he has witnessed, but I just wanted to kind of add a little bit of context of the fact that there are spaces where men do hold other men accountable. So that's what I wanted to say. So I'm just going to just play this, last little piece right here, and then um, go from there.
Now imagine me being 8, 9, 13, 15, 16. I'm sitting here. Hell yeah, my nigga, my little lady, she was over there. She came to get something to eat. She bought that old faggot ass cousin. I can't stand that faggot ass nigga. Faggot this. Man, man, she over there letting them sissies do her hair. Hell nah, fuck that. If my son was a sissy, I'd beat his motherfucking neck. All the while, I'm sitting in the chair just trying to get my fade. And I'm just being battered and abused verbally because I am that faggot and that sissy, and they don't know, and that's the talk. So, situation. But the true noise is being made over the men. Once again, the straight black man. Everybody can rally behind y'all. But I don't know that the other marginalized groups in our community, being women and LGBTQ people, get the same support from the straight black man. And that is a conversation, again, that y'all have to have with one another. A friend of mine last night asked me about relations when it comes to trans people and gay people. He was like, why do you think, straight black men don't do this? Or why do you think straight black men attack the trans, so on and so forth? And I told him, I said, you know what? That line of questioning is intellectually lazy. Why are you putting the onus on me to explain what it is y'all feel in y'all heart and in y'all soul when it comes to women and gay people?
Right.
That's like asking somebody that's been raped, what can they do to prevent from being raped? Hey, rape victim, what can you do to prevent, by virtue of her being trans, that her life automatically doesn't mean anything anymore, and y'all ignorant sons of bitches are okay with that? But then when some shit go down with one of y'all, we all supposed to rally behind y'all because Black Lives Matter. And don't get me wrong, this is in no way, shape, or form am I trying to attach the gay agenda and the LGBTQ agenda to the Black Lives Matter agenda, because I understand that agenda is a police brutality movement situation, and I'm completely aware of that. Outside of that, I am talking about the intrinsicness of when you say Black Lives Matter. But do they really? To each other. There with you all this time, and now financially I've got to be over here struggling, and that's not right. Like, I need to be living the life I was here with you. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that it is so easy for some of our men to have babies with these women and then not put these women in position to be happy and healthy and financially successful to take care of these children? In a Kevin Hart situation, I don't know what he gave that woman, okay? And I don't know what she has. But I personally feel that the proper thing to do for Kevin Hart and any man who's had children with a woman, if he has the means, put that woman up in a house. She shouldn't be living in a Bel Air mansion like Kevin, but put that lady up in a 3-story townhouse that's paid off. Put that woman in a nice car. Give that woman a nice money to start a business so she can be self-sufficient, because if she's comfortable, your kid's comfortable. That's the thought process. If she comfortable, my kid's comfortable. If she not comfortable, that means she's stressed out, she fucked up every day. She mad, she pumped it together. Because it's y'all. It ain't the black women killing the trans people. It ain't the black women beating the shit out of the gays. It's y'all straight black men. It ain't the black women getting themselves pregnant and being shitted on and being disregarded and being whooped on. They not doing it to themselves. It ain't the trans women beating on the women and getting them pregnant. It ain't the gay boys neglecting these women and getting them pregnant. It's y'all. It ain't the gay boys sitting in gangs, selling drugs, shooting each other up. It ain't the gay boys in Chicago shooting up 30 and 50 people a night. It ain't the girls. It ain't the black women sitting up in Chicago and all these other cities shooting up each other, keeping up curfews and shit. Yeah, a few of them are in gangs, but overwhelmingly, it ain't them. It is y'all. Y'all need to figure that shit out. And perhaps y'all can start them conversations in the barbershop. That's all I got. Ain't got no more.
All righty. All right. So, I kind of, skimmed through the video because I didn't want to play the whole thing out, but I just, wanted to get some key takeaways and, based on the highlights that y'all saw. All right. So first of all, Funky Dineva, you putting all the blame on the black man for a lot of those factors is not fair. I'm gonna say that, even though understand that some of those points are valid, and black men do need to do better. Black women need to do better. Gays, trans, we all need to do better as a whole, as a collective. In different areas, we got to do better. Okay. So now as far as saying about black men, they're responsible for most of the crimes and getting women pregnant. And okay, now as far as that goes, I mean, first of all, men don't get pregnant by themselves. Women, we allow ourselves to become pregnant for different agendas, different reasons. And let's just be real. Let me just say something here. Not all women are pregnant the natural way. Okay, let me put that out there. Not all women get pregnant or have children with these men. And yes, they do. Yes, they do get abandoned. Yes, there are a lot of women that are held, that hold these men down. And once they become successful, or once they reach a level of wealth, they tend to go another way, go another direction, another persuasion. So we do get a lot of black men who do that, unfortunately. But at the same time, we always want to ride the wave of my body, my choice. So, and we understand that a lot of things happen. I talked about my story about how, my son was conceived, and a lot of times conception is not always planned. There is a lot of, babies that are born. They're not, most of them are born out of love. Most of them are born from a one night stand, or born of, from they're conceived from irresponsibility, not using protection, or sometimes protection is used, but things slip up. So there are different ways, but you talk about my body, my choice. So if a man is making it clear that they're not, ready to become a father, or they are not interested in having, and I am not an advocate for, deletion of pregnancy. That's something I would never be an advocate for. I know I have, we all have, some of us have our stories, and, are making a devastated decision. That's why you have to make sure that you are proactive, whether it's the morning after pill, birth control, like whatever contraception you can use, or whatever choices you have to make on that part. When you say my body, my choice, and that person, that man is making it clear that that's not something they want to do. They're not interested in co-parenting with you, or they don't want to be a parent at all. And you still move forward with, having that child, that is your decision, and you have to live with that, right? And vice versa. And a lot of times, a lot of babies are not always conceived. A lot of men do not get them pregnant. They get themselves pregnant, by stealing that person's sperm. Okay. So, we do have those situations that happen. Disgusting, by the way. That's disgusting, by the way. But do we have those situations where the sperm is taken from the condom, or whatever, however they do it, and they, have that turkey basted thing going on? Yes, that's a real thing. Because they come across an athlete or entertainer, or someone who's well-to-do, and they hit the jackpot that way. They feel like they hit the jackpot that way. Now, as far as him saying that about, using Kevin Hart as an example, I guess he's saying that he should be responsible for making sure his ex-wife is set up right. And I know a lot of people do that. Like, you have Country Wayne, like, the comedian Country Wayne, who makes sure that, he financially takes care of his children, as well as the mothers of his children. Even if they have relationships or whatever, he feels like, to just keep things civil, he still pays bills and makes sure everyone is set up correctly. And that's his tax bracket, not everybody else's. Now, do I think it's their responsibility to do it? No. If it's noble for them to do that, yes. If you have children with someone, and if you have the capacity to set them up so that way that child or children are doing well, or being able to be productive members of society, then yes, I mean I would never knock that. That's very commendable. But if I'm going to knock if am I going to knock a man for not doing that? And if if they living in the mansion or living um you know living more well to do, and the mother or of their children who happens to be their ex is maybe living in an apartment, but they're still comfortable, or they're still living within certain means, I feel like that's the mother's responsibility as well to make sure that she's able to be self-sufficient and be able to provide a more safe, comfortable space for her and her child or children as well. Even if the child or children's father is wealthy or whatever, it's still also the mother's responsibility as well. You can't expect to just live off that man's dying forever, you know because at the end of the day, that's his life, and you have to live your life. Now, if you choose to remain stagnant, you choose to remain dependent upon somebody else's child support check, and you're not trying to better yourself into a space where you're able to be, and if you're not able to, for whatever reason, if you're not able to if you don't have the means to provide for both you and your child in a space where you're more comfortable or livable, then maybe you need to allow the children to be with their father if they're able to be in a safe environment, and you know they're able to be well taken care of until you're able to you're able to get on your feet, until you're able to attain a better setup for yourself. Then maybe there needs to be an arrangement between the woman and that man, as co-parents, right? So I mean, there's ways to do that, but to impose responsibility to take care of the ex because they have a child together and using that child as a meal ticket, no, I don't think that's reasonable. I don't think that's fair. But I think there has to be a way to meet in the middle. You know, um, Now as far as violence against the women, I would never condone that. I frown upon it big time. I mean, I don't know why it's still happening in 2026. Unfortunately, I don't know why it's still happening where you have violence against women, and also you need to understand that there's also violence from women towards the men as well. There's that level of toxicity there that needs to end. And so when he talks about, oh, well, the gays not doing this. No, stop it, Funky Dineva. You being gay does not leave you off the hook from certain things. You gays have as much of accountability as straight men. Y'all have just as much of accountability. Just because you choose to love on the same sex does not mean that you're not held accountable for certain things. For you to say that gays are not shooting up people or getting them pregnant. There's some gay men that get women pregnant too now. Okay, there are some gay men. There are a lot of gay men who are whether they're trade or DL or whatever it is, or they did it to a lady part in the past, but then they later down the line they decide to be who they are exclusively. But before then, they had, children with the women. They've been married to women. They have families with women, and they have conceived children. So yes, so gay men are doing that as well. Gay men are being deceptive, just as deceptive. They're just as, because of the fact they're not coming to terms with who they are, they're being just as deceptive towards the women as well. And they are also just as much deadbeats out there. Like I said, it goes across the board. You know, you could put that label on you too. You in the community, you gay men in the community are not off the hook either. And I don't know why you even believe or allow yourself to believe that straight men are the only ones who are likely to commit violent crimes against each other. If you, I mean, I think you need to fact check that, Funky Dineva, because there are gay men. It may not be put out there in the open. You may not hear reported, but trust to believe there are gay men who are just as violent towards women, children, and other men. So I think you may need to do a bit of a fact check on that. But like I said, I just wanted to kind of just give my little piece on it. I know I may ruffle some feathers. Maybe we could agree to disagree, or you agree, but just just put it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I just wanted to, like I said, add my 2 cents. And also, I just want to shout out Krista Monique for a great interview. I really enjoyed our conversation. So please make sure you check out that video. I did an interview with her um, Wednesday, this past Wednesday night, and I really I have to work on clipping the video. I don't know if I'm going to do that tonight. I'll see. I might just do that, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Anywho, but in the meantime, in between time, if I don't see you again before my next interview is coming up this coming Wednesday, May 13th. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'm going to be sitting down with Carl, aka K Star. He is a reality TV actor and producer, media personality, recording artist. So please make sure you look out for that flyer. And I also have an anniversary coming up. I'll call it my YouTube versary. So I'm having that coming up as well. May 19th makes a year since I've been on YouTube. So that's a blessing for me. And I really thank you so much for all the support I've been getting, and all the and shout out to the trolls, shout out to those who've been dragging me, or shout out to those who've been supportive of me. Shout out to each and every person that I interview with. And I'm looking forward to just give you some throwbacks. So, just kind of give you, presenting you guys with, content and interviews that I've done so far throughout the year, how I evolve, and I'm continuing to evolve when it comes to the editing process, when it comes to, the aesthetic. I'm still working on that, you guys, just work with me on that one. But I just want to just take the time to thank you so much for just blessing me with your presence, subscribing to my channel, and, hopefully I get to that 1,000 soon. But if not, that's still okay. That's still okay. I'm just enjoying, the interactions that I'm getting, and I'm enjoying the networking I've been able to do. I'm enjoying, just kind of being in the groove of this. So I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there, right? So in the meantime, I bid you adieu until next time.